7:22 now. A very special event is about to take place tomorrow here in Connecticut. It is called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. It is sponsored by the Rape Crisis Center of Milford. And if you can believe it, I'm looking down at my feet. Well, there's a reason why. Guess what? Because the guys walking a mile or so in her shoes. And we have here Peggy Pisano of the Rape Crisis Center.
That's right.
And let's see, State's Attorney Mike Lawler.
Kevin Lawler.
Kevin Lawler, I'm
Kevin
sorry.
Lawler.
It's been a tough morning. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, as State's Attorney for Milford and Sonia, thank you for being with us. Now, Peggy, can you talk about what the Walk a Mile whole event is? Because this is an annual thing, is it not?
It's an annual thing. This is our 7th Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. Jeff, these are for you.
I think I'm going to have to put these on, yeah.
Give those a try. Kevin Lawler was kind enough to bring attention to this subject. You know, we ask men to walk that mile because you can't really know what a person experiences unless you walk a mile in her shoes, kind of thing. So that's what the whole idea behind this walk. It's kind of a lighthearted way for people to talk about sexual assault, because this isn't something people really want to talk about. So this allows people to begin the conversation.
And this is to raise funds and awareness for the Rape Crisis Centers, not just here, but also, gosh, when I was in Canada, I remember we were doing that stuff too. So talk about what the Rape Crisis Centers do and how they need help from the public.
Absolutely. Well, we're seeing funding cuts, we know already, from the sequester schedule for next year. So this is a fundraising event. We are one of 9 rape crisis centers in the state of Connecticut.
Just keep talking.
Can I help you? And the services that we provide are victim services, where we accompany victims to the police department, to the hospitals for the collection of evidence, and through the court system if it's able to get that far as well. But we also provide community education. To any school that would like a presentation. We come in and talk to children from as young as preschool through 12th grade and beyond. We're at the University of New Haven as well.
And you're right. I mean, just putting these things on, talk about it being lighthearted, despite the serious nature of the topic and the crisis. Now, Kevin, can you talk a little bit about, well, I got to tell you, I like your toes.
I know. The ladies in my office.
I don't know what you do, but
you
have very nice feet.
Right.
Better than mine. These hairy beasts. Oh, my gosh. It looks like glasses of milk with hair in it. Anyway. So talk about this, because, of course, it is a serious issue. You know, rape, unfortunately, is something that still happens every day in America. Can you talk a little bit about it from the legal point of view and what you see?
Yeah, you know, being a prosecutor, one of the most difficult and challenging types of cases that we deal with every day are sexual assault cases, particularly the child sexual abuse cases that we get. And Milford Rape Crisis does a tremendous job, they always have, of working with those victims and kind of shepherding them through the whole process, from the time that, you know, these unfortunate things happen to them all the way up through, hopefully, a guilty verdict, either with a plea or after trial. And so we do whatever we can to help them with that, because it's, you know, they provide an unbelievable service to the community. And it's in large part because of their outreach efforts that we have as many people who are brave enough to come forward as we do. And I think that we have a very high success rate in our judicial district, in large part because of the work that these volunteers do. And they are all volunteers, which I think is important to remember.
And you use the word courage. It's got to be something, when you think about people who have to have the courage after what's happened to them to come forward. As we know, a lot of these cases never get reported.
A lot of cases never get reported. That's more on their end.
Only 20% are ever reported to the police, correct?
Really?
So the figures we saw last year were 465 just in our little area. It's estimated that once every 2 minutes within the United States there's a victim of sexual assault.
Wow.
And it ranges from children all the way through the elderly.
Just going to say all ages. You know what, we have only a little less than a minute left, so it's up to you and me to do some walking. My good friend Kevin.
Gentlemen, you can do this.
Well, while we're doing this,
yes.
Do you want to go first, or you want me?
Sure, you want to walk the catwalk?
Okay, I'll lead you. And you talk about the event there, Peggy, okay?
The event, it begins, registration is at noon tomorrow. The walk itself begins at 1 o'clock down at Listman's Landing, which is 37 Hellwig Street in Milford. We expect in probably over 500 people. And we're talking about courage here today, the courage of Jeff and the courage of State's Attorney Kevin Lawler. And we hope that all the men out there will find the courage to come and join this event. It's about who you are as a man, not what's on your feet.
Well, there's a fine line between courage and idiocy. Me
That's
trying
right.
to moonwalk in these things.
That's right.
That's where I cross
You
that
look
line
good.
anyway. But
You
thank you
look
guys
good.
so much for
Of
being here,
course.
both of you,
Thank you.
Kevin and Peggy.